the idea is that Adelaide's the UNESCO Alive City of Music, and I'm hoping to incorporate that into redevelopment of the laneway network that's being led by the City Council and the State Government. So they're trying to get people to fill the space between North Terrace and Goodger Street on that western side of the city. And there's a couple of streets there that are, you know, pretty famous now in Adelaide and good tourist attractions: Lee Street, Peel Street, Mill Street. Got a lot of bars and entertainment offerings, but those venues struggle to fit live music. So this is about having live bands being able to perform on a portable stage somewhere in the laneway network. They get filmed and the audio is captured, and then a projection is simultaneously is shot out in other spots across the laneway network. So that when you go walking from point A to point B, from the train station to work or to go shopping at the markets, you might pass a live musical performance 3 or 4 times on your way through. You know, it might be something you like. You might look and see where they're performing later that night, and hopefully we'll get more people in the city engaged in live music and supporting the artists. I think it'll expand the audience. So the idea is that it'll be simultaneously one performance of a band in a laneway somewhere. We'll be showing 5 or 6 locations. So your audience numbers will go up just through foot traffic alone. And I feel like live music kind of needs to be a little bit in your face, kind of like graphic art is in the laneways through Melbourne, where you see it and you may not like it, you may like it, but at least you've had an experience of it and you've been able to make that call. So if you've got 5 stages playing one band's gig, I think more people are going to hear it and appreciate it and see if they want to get behind that artist and that band.
So Leanback is a feedback tool for young musicians, young producers, try and get some feedback on their work to make sure they get the best result possible, and also get to know some people in the local community as well, local creative community as well, and just develop those relationships. So it's all based on lean production methodologies. And so the whole idea of it is to upload a 45-second snippet of the idea or the song where it's at the present point in time. People who are around you can go through and just leave short comments, kind of giving some feedback on the work and some things that you should work on or some directions you should take the idea in, and iterate and make a new version and progress from there. The primary objective of it is to get better music coming out of SA and to develop relationships with creative people within SA.
So what we've developed is we've developed a platform to allow local artists to show off their music in certain spots in the city, and allow a user to basically throw their phone in their pocket, throw headphones on, walk around the city and discover local artists as they walk around. And we've got a second section of it which is a dynamically changing song that has been mapped around an area. So as you walk around, you get a different arrangement of that song based on where you walk, which direction, which order, that kind of thing. So it's a challenge that's based around music and technology, and those are sort of really 2 of my big things. It's really interesting. You get to explore new ideas that, usually things that have been bouncing around your head that you haven't had a chance to really develop before. And also it's a great sort of networking thing. You get to meet some great people. We've actually created a product together, so that's really, really exciting, especially when it's sort of new and unknown. And the benefit for people wandering around Adelaide is it is a great way to discover that local music. So you start it up, you're in the city, you walk around, and based on where you are, we're playing you a thing. And we can have a number of channels based on genres. We can have channels based on events. So one example is we were talking about the Fringe. And so an idea is, as a promotional thing before the Fringe comes up, we can create a channel for them, have them map a whole bunch of sort of audio content in and around where they're going to be. And so any user that's sort of tuned into that as they're walking out, they get this sort of almost like preview event of the Fringe. So it's really sort of promoting that here's what's going on in and around this space.
So essentially our team, we are 3 game development students. So of course we had to do something with games. We decided to make a virtual reality experience where you get to experience a whole city without having to travel there. So essentially the idea is to have a game where you get to explore and find all the points of interest of a particular city without having to be there. So essentially you get into VR and you're a giant that gets to see all of the city, and you get objectives like return this book to the library or find out where the live music venues are. So right now for the TechJam, we decided to make it just for live music venues. So I found 5 music venues which are around Adelaide, and I got music which they usually play on those venues, which is constantly playing on the city in virtual reality. So it's working on 3D space, and as you walk around the city, you'll start to listen to music, and if you like that particular music, you'll start exploring it a little bit more. Once you get really close to the venue, you will discover that venue, and information about that venue will pop up, and also information about the musician. We want to make it accessible for people that are not living in Australia. We want them to check out the city of Adelaide and experience it in a whole different way, so in virtual reality. When you put the headset on, it tracks your head, so you can turn around and it will be tracked, so you can walk around the city. And also we are tracking the sound in 3D space, which means if you get closer to that venue, the music is going to play louder. So your objective as the player is to find those music venues in Adelaide and essentially discover them. So discover new venues in a new way.
Squeaky Shoes is an advanced music playlisting service for cafes and restaurants. So we work with the cafe and restaurant to collect some data on their customers, and then using an algorithm we've created that bolts onto the back end of Spotify, we create a playlist that's much more targeted at the customers who are already going to their cafe and restaurant. So as we develop this, a restaurant or cafe would be able to tell us, you know, morning, afternoon, evening, and we can create 3 different playlists. But as it moves on in the software, people will be able to do it by hour. You know, so if they look at it, oh no, I have all these mums in after school at 10 a.m, great, that's one demographic, and then it might change at lunchtime, and so we'll be able to target the playlist hour by hour across a week. It's about increasing sales in cafe and restaurants ultimately, so we want people to spend more time in a cafe or restaurant at slow times, and we want to give the restaurateur the opportunity that in really busy times we increase the tempo of the music, which the research points to people moving faster, and that could help them churn their tables. So great for South Australia because it'll increase the revenue of cafes and restaurants.
My name's Andrew. I'm with a little outfit called Making Playgrounds Musical. Our idea is based on using the physical spaces of parks and playgrounds to create a synergy between an interactive device, an app on a phone or a tablet, and the features of the park or playground. So having the app on your device and walking into a playground activates a map which gives you a series of features inside the park or playground. Opening one of these features gives you a list of tasks that you can perform, and each one of those tasks, when performed, results in a story being read or a small snippet of music being played. If the child completes the circuit of the park, interacts with all of the different structures, the piece of music is then played in its entirety upon completion. I think it goes without saying that anything that gets people engaged with sunshine and fresh air has got to be of benefit to whichever state you happen to occupy. And this is certainly something I think that would enhance the experience. Not only is there a synergy between the physical world and the digital one, but there's an enhanced experience between supervising adult, the parent, and the child.